Hello everyone, and welcome to Motivational Monday. Today's message is going to be different than the past 2 weeks. Obviously, those ones were more so dealing with the season, but today is going to be a more inherently true motivational speech, I guess. Today's message is to test yourself. Now, a lot of us dread tests. Sometimes it would come up at the worst times, and when we really didn't think we were prepared, and thus we wind up failing sometimes, but ultimately these tests are important because they show you what you can improve. Now, iron sharpens iron. The best way to test your sword is to, of course, let it clash with another. Whoever winds up winning clearly had the better sword. But of course, we're not going to talk about dueling. The idea here is that has to be tested. You cannot go into battle with dull weaponry. You can't go into something unprepared, of course, especially if it's something important, especially if it was something like a battle. If you went in with a poorly prepared sword, then that could very well cost you your life. Say you have an event coming up where you're supposed to run X amount of miles and go through an obstacle course and all this other stuff, and you've been training well, and you think you're ready to go, so, you kind of just let it happen, and you go ahead and try to run the obstacle course, and you could potentially fail. But what's most important is to, of course, test your ability to endure what is coming by doing something similar. This is a great way to prepare for anything. I do this a lot when it comes to speaking. Sometimes when I'm ready to talk to somebody about something serious, I'll actually talk aloud in my car on my way somewhere, or in front of a mirror in the bathroom. You talk to yourself and really give yourself the idea of how you're going to come off when you have this conversation. These are tests. You're testing your ability to do something that is coming up that could very well be very important. But of course, this is vital to test yourself. It's a great way to see whether or not you're ready to go. It can save you from embarrassment. It could even save you from failure. And of course, these are things that are sometimes great to avoid because, like I say, there is some ability to learn from failure and there is something good about it. Sometimes we really don't want that. We want what is about to happen to be our best way of doing it. And we want it to be flawless. And we want it to make sure that it's the definitive way to do that thing. And there's really no other way to be as prepared for it than to test yourself. Do something similar. Do something that would help you in your ability to then complete that task that you are coming up on. Because you know yourself, and you can be honest with yourself and tell yourself whether or not you will potentially fail. We know when we're getting ready to run a 5-mile race, if we've only been able to run 3 miles in training, we understand that 5 miles is going to be either very difficult or potentially impossible. You have to continue to test yourself and get to the point where you can run 4.5 miles, maybe 5.5 miles. And then you realize that you have that capacity, and now you're ready to go. And thus, you can prevent yourself from losing. You can prevent yourself from embarrassment. And of course, you can then capitalize to use that better than ever and succeed, and not so much just succeed, but to exceed your succession. You will do so well. You will perform at an extent of which you didn't realize you could. And maybe you'll even perform at a level that nobody expected. And you will amaze everyone around you. So that's it. That's the advice. Make sure that you test yourself because you never know when you might need to use these skills. So rather than potentially fail, you can avoid those pitfalls and thus succeed and also exceed your succession. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, and remember that if no one else is there for you, these videos will always be here for you. Make sure to like the video if you did indeed like it, and of course subscribe to the channel because I do these videos every single week. I'm also going to link a video right up here in the corner, so even if you've seen it, please just give it a click. It does help the channel out. I do really appreciate that. Thanks again for watching, have an amazing week, and stay motivated.